Are you ready to find your voice, fulfill your purpose, build unstoppable confidence? And are you ready to learn how to trust, accept, and love yourself enough to do the work to create what you want in life? Oh, and do you want to learn how to do it without burning yourself out, sacrificing what matters most, or compromising on your values? Then you're in the right place. I'm your host, Crystal Stanton, a certified coach, human design enthusiast, entrepreneur, and podcast host on a mission to guide women into their true, authentic success, to help them recognize their power and to step out from the shadows and into the woman they were always meant to be. Around here, we don't do grey, unaligned versions of our life. We don't settle for what we should be happy with. Around here, we do big, bold, courageous, fulfilled, rich lives, and we do it in an aligned, nourished, and truly authentic way. If that sounds like the life you want, then stick around and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode. Okay, everybody, I have a little secret that I need to let you all in on. Now, you know that I am all about feeling good, staying energized, and keeping my mind sharp so I can go out there and live my own fearless life and create my life by design while being able to meet and serve others. So, I have found something that helps me to do that amongst the chaos of holding it all, right? If you're anything like me, you are in a transition period. Maybe you're moving from one career to another. Maybe you're building your own business. Maybe you have a family. Maybe you are juggling multiple hats all at the same time. And whilst we know that we have to support our mind, body, soul, our nervous system with the right habits, standards, routines, to help us feel our best, sometimes we just need something a little bit extra to help fill those gaps in the chaos of life, right? Well, I have found something that does all of that and more, and it's called Happy Juice by Amar, the mental wellness company. It is a total game changer. Now, I have to admit that when I first heard about Happy Juice, I was very skeptical and I really didn't think that it was going to live up to the hype that I had heard all about it. Now, I have to tell you that I am a changed woman. I have been my mindset about this has been completely changed. I've been using Happy Juice now, drinking Happy Juice now for about 3 months, and honestly, the results speak for themselves. So what is it? Well, basically, Happy Juice is a delicious drink that is packed with science-backed nutrients that support your gut-brain connection. Because when your gut is happy, your mind follows. So what it does is it helps boost your mood, sharpen your mental clarity, and give you sustained energy without the jitters or crash of something like coffee. Plus, it also is going to help you manage your stress, improve your motivation, and support your overall mental well-being naturally. There are no synthetic ingredients inside this drink, which is something that is really important to me. I have personally been loving how much more focused, balanced, and energized I feel throughout the day, especially juggling a business, 2 kids, Evie starting school, juggling multiple rehearsals for my creative endeavors and pursuits that I'm in, as well as recording the podcast. So I have really, really loved how this drink, this really simple tool in my toolkit, has been helping me to fill the gaps and support me as I go out there and create this incredible dream life that I am chasing. So if you want to experience it for yourself, head over to the show notes. There is a link if you are overseas, say in the USA, and there is a link if you are here in Australia, New Zealand. Go and grab yourself some Happy Juice today. You will get $10 off using my link down in the show notes. So cheers to feeling amazing inside and out. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I really hope you received exactly what you needed from it. I absolutely loved sharing it with you. I'd also love to know what you thought. So please leave a comment or a review for me to respond to, or just come over and say hi on my socials. If you'd love to be a guest on the show, or maybe you have a question or a topic that you'd like me to talk about, then please send me a message. I absolutely love to connect. And really, this podcast is all about you. And your success. So tell me what you need to hear more of. If you really enjoyed this episode, please give it a like, or even better, send it to someone you know to spread the love. Let's get this authentic success movement happening. Okay, that's it from me. Big love. Now go out there and be amazing. Okay, welcome back, everybody, to our series on consistency by design. So this is sort of episode like 3 now in the series. So if you haven't listened to the previous episodes, go back, have a listen to those so that you're sort of on the same page in terms of what we're talking about. But we're talking about consistency, right? Or how do I create consistency in an aligned way instead of a hustle, force, daily output way? And we do that through our human design. So far we've talked about consistency through your type and your strategy. And today we're moving into authority. So there is a whole episode on authority if you're not all over that. And again, if you don't have your chart yet, go down to the show notes. There is a link in there to my website. Go and grab your free chart. That's going to give you a little summary of all of these things. You can purchase a more detailed report if you want. You can book in a one-on-one session with me around human design if you want to. Go and explore, but at least go and get the free chart so you can have that with you. So when I'm talking about your specific authority, it makes more sense and it helps you out a little bit more. I need some water. So your authority shows you how to make aligned decisions. Okay? That's what authority is for. It's your internal guidance system. It's the way you're designed to make decisions that are in the best alignment for you to help you create what you want to create in life, what you are here to do. It helps you align more to the truth of who you are. And when you follow it, the right things come to you, okay? The right things come to you. There's less detours. There's less, oh my gosh, I fucked it up, I've got to come back again, all over again. But the biggest thing about authority is it gives you a way to make decisions without having to second guess or doubt yourself, right? And that is what we love here in Fearless Collective. That is what we are all about. Loving, trusting, and accepting yourself. So your authority is literally how to trust yourself, right? Trust in your own ability to make the best decisions for yourself, the most aligned decisions. So remembering that consistency isn't about the frequency of habits, okay? And it gets a little bit tricky here because habits are important, because you don't get what you want in life, you get your habits. So habits and your subconscious identity are super important, but what we're talking about here is what consistency actually looks like, because consistency isn't a one-size-fits-all thing like it is sold to us, okay? So consistency in this realm, in this world that we're in, is about staying aligned, and that's what authority helps you to do. Your authority, when you learn to trust it and follow it, helps you stay aligned, and that is the easiest way for you to create consistency and flow in your life. Okay, so let's go. Let's talk about how following your authority is going to help you create more consistency in your world. So if you have an emotional authority, which I think it's like 50% of people have an emotional authority. So emotional authority can be someone who's a generator, a manifestor, a mani-gen, or a projector. Okay, it's not type specific. Quick side note, there is a whole episode on this, but authority comes from the definition in your centers, not anything else. Okay, so that's where your authority comes from. I'm going to put a pin there because you can go and listen to that episode if you want to. You know, all my line ones are like, I need more deep knowledge and foundational information. There's an episode. But emotional authority. If you have this, You have to lean into the fact that you are here to ride your emotional wave. Now, if you follow me on socials, you know I talk a lot about how that doesn't mean that the emotional wave is the boss and is in charge of you, and that we don't want to stay like down and blah, 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 let that emotional wave run our life, but we do need to learn to ride it. Okay. And you also need to learn to not expect clarity right away, and never 100% clarity. Like 80% clarity, we're good to go. Okay, all of us with this emotional authority. Like riding that wave and that emotional authority and waiting for the clarity to come through as we go through that mechanic wave. It's more about waiting for your decision to not be like, yeah, or yeah. It's like a really neutral, this feels right and the timing is right, because emotional authority and the emotional wave has a real sense of timing about it. So for you, in terms of consistency, it's about having emotional patience to ride that wave and to wait for the clarity to come, which is very hard to do if you have been programmed and conditioned, like most of us have, to be decisive, right? Because if we're decisive, we make decisions in the moment. We don't have to think about it. We can just say yes or no, right? And if we don't instantly make a decision, yes or no, then like people are going to say, oh, you don't want it enough. You don't believe in yourself. You don't trust yourself. Like you're in scarcity, blah, 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 blah. All these gross marketing tactics and sales tactics that happen. And since learning about my emotional authority, oh, I love it, because it literally gives me permission to sleep on it. Like that is your catchphrase. If you have emotional authority, anytime you need to make a large decision, you are allowed to say, I'll sleep on that and get back to you. And it doesn't matter how much that salesperson wants to close the deal and wants a commitment from you and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'll sleep on it. And you might have a sense in that moment of whether it is a yes or a no, but you're still going to sleep on it, because that's where consistency is going to come from, you having emotional patience. Because a lot of the time, what can happen for people with emotional authority when they don't follow that authority is they might be presented with an opportunity when they're at the top of their emotional wave, right? And they're super psyched and they got heaps of consistent energy and they're feeling great and they'll be like, yeah, in the moment. But in the next day, they're like way down, or like, the opportunity comes around and they're like, oh, I really didn't want to do this. Why did I say yes? Like, this isn't the right timing. I'm not ready for this. It's not all the things, right? Or same thing, it might be the right opportunity, but because when you were presented with it, you were at the bottom of your emotional wave and everything felt hard and difficult and sad and drained, you're like, no, right? So this is why you need to ride the wave and wait for clarity to come, because it's not going to be there right away. You sort of need to feel into the decision through the whole cycle of the wave, because that's how you're going to come to clarity and come to that neutral decision of whether it's a yes or a no or a not right now. So how does that relate to consistency? Well, if you're making decisions when you're at the top of your wave that aren't right for you, or vice versa at the bottom of your wave, if you're making those decisions without waiting for the clarity, of course that's going to create resistance. It's going to create setbacks, right? It's going to create like hard work. And that is the death of consistency, right? It's not gonna fit into your routine, like all the things, all the barriers are gonna pop up. So for you, consistency equals emotional patience. Okay, let's go on to our sacral authority. So sacral beings are generators and manifesting generators. Okay, we are the ones that have the defined sacrals. So we have that our gut is talking to us all the time. Okay, like when people say listen to your gut, they're talking to manifesting generators and generators. We have a defined sacral center that is always switched on, and it's always talking to us. It's always giving us a, or a or a maybe, right? And maybe is just about timing. Okay, maybe is like it's not a yes or a no, it's just not the right time. But most of the time from your sacral, you're going to get a very strong, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Yes, 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 I'm lit up. I'm AF, yes, I'm all on board for this. And other times you're just going to get a, no. And if you have sacral authority, because some generators and manifesting generators will have an emotional authority. So you'll get that sacral response, but you have to wait for clarity over time because your sacral, you have to feel into that sacral response at each point of the wave. But if you have a pure sacral authority, your gut is, that's it. You listen to your gut in the moment. So for you, consistency, alignment is going to come from tuning in regularly to that sacral response, learning to listen to it, learning to hear it, learning to understand what a yes and a no sounds like from your gut, and then learning to trust it and follow it. Even when your brain is like, no, this is a definite yes. If your sacral is saying, nope, don't do it, it's going to drain all of your life force energy. It's going to be a huge detour, a huge delay. It's not for you. Okay? It is not for you. And sometimes people struggle to trust their sacral authority because it's so instant. It's just like there, bam, yes, or bam, no. And like, no, I have to go away. Opposite to emotional authority, like, no, I have to go away and I have to think about it and I have to take my time. It's like, you will know in the moment. So the trick is learning to trust it straight away. And by tuning in regularly to that sacral response, that's how you're going to create consistency because you're trusting it and you can just keep going, keep flowing with those yes, no's, yes, no's, yes, no's. Okay. Splenic authority. This is a really cool one. I mean, there's lots of authorities, but I don't know. I kind of love the little splenic authority. So this is going to be our projectors and manifestors can have this type of authority. For you, this can be a really easy one to miss because it's about intuition and it hits in the moment and then it's gone. So you really have to trust your body. When there's decisions to be made, you're going to get these pings, just like out of nowhere. It's just going to be like, ping, this is what you need to do. Ping, body's going to be telling you, yes, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, don't do that, nah, bad. And you'll get that like, like in movies where like someone's like, oh, they get that bad feeling and then something bad happens like right after, or they get that like, don't get on the plane, so they don't get on the plane and then the plane crashes. That's splenic authority. Okay, it is your body talking to you in the moment. And if you're not tuned in and listening to that, it's really subtle. It's really subtle and it's really quiet. It'll just be like, hey, do this. Oh, that's bad, right? It'll just be like this ping. My friends that have splenic authority talk about it as a ping. They're like, oh, I got the ping. Or the ping said no, right? And it's really fleeting. And if you're not tuned in and in the practice of trusting that subtle knowing without needing a reason, you're not going to be able to create consistency in your decision making, because that's really what your authority is about: consistent, reliable, aligned decision making. So you're not going to be able to create consistency in your decision making if you're not trusting that subtle knowing without needing a reason why. Okay, so you won't get a reason why, you just get a like, yes, I need to work with that person. Nope. Oh, time to leave this career. Yes, it's time to do that. I need to get off this bus, whatever it is. I need to talk to that person, or, oh, I need to close off that connection. So you have to be tuned in because it's quite, like I said, it's very subtle. All of your authorities are very subtle if you're not in the practice of quieting the chatter, right? The chatter in your mind. If you're not in the practice of being aware of the talk going on in your mind all the time, and you're not actively practicing silencing and quieting the mind, you're going to struggle to hear your authority and to follow it. Okay, so it's important that you are practicing mindfulness, meditation, quieting the mind, subconscious reprogramming, going inwards, because that's how you're going to be better able to start following your authority. Otherwise, you're going to miss it. because it'll be too noisy in your mind, right? And you'll be always needing a reason, and your ego will always be trying to intervene and convince you to do something else. Okay. So splenic authority, consistency comes from trusting those intuitive hits in the moment, trusting your body. Okay. Now, let's talk about ego authority. So again, I'm going to say, go back and listen to the authority episode, because ego authority, if you have it, you want that information to sort of understand it. Because when we say ego authority, we're not talking about that, like that critic in your mind. We're not talking about the chatter, the monkey mind. That's not what we're talking about here. It's different. So go and listen to that episode. But if you have an ego authority, manifestors or projectors, you're here to make decisions based on what you want. Okay, so it's very self-centered in a healthy way. It's about what you want, and if you learn to listen to that and really boldly honor your desires, you're going to make aligned decisions. Now, again, we're talking about manifestors and projectors. So manifestors, you then need to inform the people around you so that you can boldly honor your desires, but just let them know what's going on. Otherwise, you're going to have relationship friction, right? But this is how you create consistency, by actually letting yourself make self-centered decisions. And I have some strategies on how to help you follow your ego authority in the authority episode. So go back and listen, but really you need like sounding boards. You need to hear yourself. Okay, I'm not going to go into it now because it would take too long. So go and listen to that episode. But really all you need to know in terms of making consistent, like a consistent decision-making process for you, it's about boldly honoring your desires, because you make decisions based on what you want. So you need to have safe people around you who can soundboard without trying to guilt or shame you for talking about what you want, right? Because we're very deeply conditioned to not be self-centered, but self-centered and selfishness are different things, okay? They're different things. So just going to put a pin in that, because we could talk about that for a long time. For you, if you want to make consistent, aligned decisions, you need to boldly honor your desires, which means you need to have people around you who you can soundboard with. You can speak out loud what those desires are, so you can hear what it is you want. You'll hear it in your tone, what it is you want. And then, if you're a manifestor, inform people of what's going on around you, or what it is you're doing. Okay. If you have a self-projected authority, you have to speak it out. Okay, so for our projectors with a self-projected authority, you have to speak it out. You will only hear what is true and correct for you if you hear yourself talk it out loud. Okay. So again, you're going to need sounding boards, or you're going to need to record your ideas or your thoughts or your desires and then listen back to it. You need to be able to speak it out. Your truth is heard as you talk. So for you to make consistent, aligned decisions, you have to give yourself space to express and hear your truth. You cannot do it in your mind. Okay? You cannot do it in your mind. You have to speak it out. That's how you hear what it is you actually want and hear what it is you don't want that you might be forcing yourself to do. Okay, so to understand what's true and correct for you, you need to talk it all out loud, listen to it, or have a sound. And I talk about this in the authority episode, but have someone, a safe person who's a sounding board, who can literally listen without any, what's the word I'm looking for? Someone who can listen without any judgment or without any agenda, right? They can literally just listen to you and repeat back what you have said, okay, and the tone that you use when you were saying it, so you can hear your truth. Now, projectors with a mental authority, so you don't have an inner body authority, you are mental. Okay, so your only defined center is going to be your head and ajna. So it's all happening up here in this little part of your body, in your head. So for you You need to figure out how to get into your body more often because it gets very noisy in there. But also in terms of consistent, aligned decision making processes, you need a sounding board. Okay, you need a sounding board. You don't want to make decisions in isolation. You need a sounding board, someone who can do exactly what I just spoke about for the ego and the self-projected authority. And for you, that consistent, aligned decision making comes from creating reliable, resonant external environments. Okay, so again, having those reliable people or reliable practices to be able to like use them as a sounding board, hear, like listen to it all back, have those external environments where like people can feed back exactly what you've said, and from there you can make decisions. Okay, so that's where consistency comes from, having those reliable environments, reliable people where you can use sounding boards and not make decisions in isolation. So for you, like a coach or a guide is, yeah, or someone who understands their role when you are making decisions, not about someone giving you permission or telling you what to do. It's about them being a sounding board, and they can repeat back what you've said, or they can highlight like tones of voice that you have, or what they heard you saying. Okay, but not like their own interpretation of what you're saying, just like that they maybe heard your tone change, or you sounded excited when you said this but not when you said this. So they're literally just talking about like you and how you spoke, not about the decision itself. You still make the decision. Okay, but you want to get it out, and you want to have that person that can reflect it back to you, because otherwise it's so much going on up here and here. It would feel like so it's a pressure center. Like your Ajnarian head center is a pressure center, just like your root is a pressure center. So it's energy coming down from above or energy coming up from the ground, right? So there's a lot of pressure there. So you need a sounding board to get that pressure out, so you can sort of like even like put it up around you, like get it all out and put it up on boards and see it all outside of your head. You don't want to be stuck inside your head thinking about it over and over again. You need to get it out so you can hear it and then go from there. Okay, now my reflectors. Again, you know what I'm going to say. You have a lunar authority. So again, it's about waiting the 28 days. You are naturally inconsistent. You're naturally inconsistent. So own it. Own it. Don't fight it. Don't resist it. Own it. Lean into it. Accept it. That's what true self-love is. Trusting, loving, and accepting yourself as you are, not wishing you were something else. So for you, you are naturally inconsistent. So if you want to create some kind of consistency, it's about honoring time and your cyclical nature and tracking it and knowing, okay, when am I most consistent, or when do I have more energy available to me throughout that lunar cycle? And you can also, I do talk about this in the authority episode, but you can also like track when, like with transits and the moon, when you have energy turned on in your centers, so that you are more like a generator or a manifester or a projector. Okay, so, all right, so that is it for consistency by design through the lens of decision making, our authority. Okay, so how do you make consistent decisions, aligned decisions based on human design? Consistency through decision making. Okay, next episode, we're actually going to go down and talk about the centers. Now, I haven't done an episode on centers and defined versus undefined centers. Maybe I do need to do that first, but we're just going to go and do it. And then if the feedback is like that didn't make any sense because I don't have the foundational knowledge, I'll backtrack. But that is where we're going next, to our centers and understanding how consistency works through our centers. Okay, big love. See you on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I really hope you received exactly what you needed from it. I absolutely loved sharing it with you. I'd also love to know what you thought. So please leave a comment or a review for me to respond to, or just come over and say hi on my socials. If you'd love to be a guest on the show, or maybe you have a question or a topic that you'd like me to talk about, then please send me a message. I absolutely love to connect. And really, this podcast is all about you. So, and your success. So tell me what you need to hear more of. If you really enjoyed this episode, please give it a like, or even better, send it to someone you know to spread the love. Let's get this authentic success movement happening. Okay, that's it from me. Big love. Now go out there and be amazing.